Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Parrot in the Fog. Now, if you haven't guessed it, it is a fog puzzle. It is actually a Megano Double 3 puzzle, although it's not been out for very long. It's already got nearly 1,000 souls, 930 something by the time I'm recording. So I'm actually not entirely certain if it's already been featured somewhere else. If it is, apologies for that. If it isn't, or you haven't seen it already somewhere else, well, I hope you really do enjoy today's puzzle. It is Megano Double 3's variant that I really enjoy, which is all about one and only one line that essentially travels throughout the entire fog and grid. So really looking forward to that. Just one aside before we get into it, almost like therapy for me, so that I can actually focus on the puzzle. I had a very frustrating day. I was working on something for Mrs. Sleuth, so one of the things I've been helping her with is actually writing, a feature into this application I've been working on for her, where it can actually pick up all of her historical kind of aesthetic patients that have consented to have their photos used, etc. And essentially, using machine learning and AI would actually kind of add them all into the system so that we can actually use them as part of a marketing campaign. And I really have spent probably like a handful of hours troubleshooting tons of different issues, and all it really took was for me to just try and run it from a terminal as opposed to a Jupyter notebook, and everything worked. So I just couldn't believe it. Now, for most of you, this is probably gibberish. For some of you, maybe empathize. Now that I've got this off my chest, I'm hoping I can actually just focus on this puzzle and enjoy it, as I hope you will too, with Parrot in the Fog by Megano Double 3, and the following set of rules. First one is normal Sudoku rules apply. That means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and in every 3 by 3 box. Then we have the following. There's only one and only one grey palindrome line which reads the same forwards or backwards. So essentially this grey line here that we see in box 1 is the same line in box 9. And because it's a palindrome, these two cells have to be the same, whatever they are. Of course, these two cells would have to be the same, whatever they are, etc., etc. And you can see that this one is disappearing off into the fog, but these two cells are also the same. Digits in cages do not repeat and must sum to the clue in the top left. So essentially, if this is a 2, this would have to be a 3 to make sure that these two cells add up to 5, these two cells add up to 6. A black dot between cells indicates cell values with a 2 to 1 ratio. If this is indeed a 3, this would have to be a 6 so that one cell is double the other. And a white dot between cells indicates cell values with consecutive values. So a 6 in here with this white dot, this would have to be 5 or 7 so that it is consecutive with the 6. Not all dots are given, fairly obvious. This 3 and 2, well, clearly they are consecutive. No white dot, not a problem. And if I, happen to have let's go with a 4 in here, they're clearly in a black dot, and no black dot, also not a problem. And I think that is really all the variants, other than, of course, the fog. The grid is partially covered with fog, and correctly placing digits will clear the fog around that cell. So if this is genuinely a 3, all of these cells, which are covered in fog, will be revealed, and hopefully gives us more clues to allow us to proceed with the rest of the solve. That's all the rules we have for today. As always, if you want to play along, link will be in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock. If I can figure out how to do that again, yep. And see how I get on. So essentially, these two cells have to add up to 6 because they're the equivalent of these two cells here at the other end of the palindrome. Now, I'm thinking if I make these 2 and 4, I've broken the puzzle, because how am I going to get two cells that add up to 5? Well, 1 4 is gone, 2 3 is gone, so that's not going to work. This would have to be 1 5, and therefore this cannot use a 1, so 1 4 is out the table, so this has to be 2 3. And then in here, if this is 2, well, it can't be 1. This would have to be 4. If this is 3, it would have to be 6, similar to what we modeled earlier. So this is 4 or 6. Now, I'm hoping the white crop dot will tell us what's going on. So if it is 4, well, it couldn't be 5. It would have to be 3. And if it is 6, again, it couldn't be 5. It would have to be 7. And of course, it can't be 3 because I've already got a 2, 3 pair in here. So even if this is 2 and this is 4, well, to be consecutive, both the 5 and the 3 would be gone. So that is forced. That is 7. That is 6. How ironic that the 3 that I used in the beginning is actually correct. That can't be 6, so that is 8. These are 1 and 5, and these two cells are known. They are, I know this, 4 and 9, which means that this cell here is 4 or 9. This cell here is a 6 because it's a palindrome. Can't have 9 on a black Kropke dot. Half of 9 is 4.5. Double of 9 is 18, neither of which is possible. So that's got to be a 4. That's also got to be a 4. This would have to be 2 or 8. Now I know it's not an 8 because if it is an 8, this would be an 8 and then it would break. So that's a 2, that's a 2, and we just keep going around the palindrome, I guess. Of course, that's a 9. Not exactly helpful. These two cells, oh yeah, this is easier. Right, trick with white Kropke dots is that it always has to have one odd and one even. Can't have 2 odd digits that are consecutive, that's never going to work. And can't have 2 even digits that are consecutive, that's not going to work either. So you take a look in row 1 and 2, 4 and 8 are gone. It's got to have a 6 because that's the only available even digit. And the 6 can't be consecutive with a 7, it would have to be a 5. These two are still, by the way, on the palindrome, which would mean that this is 5, 6, and we have 5 and 6 here to help us resolve everything. That's 5, that's 6, which means that's 5, that's 6. The rest of these we kind of know. They are 1, 3, 9. So this is 1, 3, 9. As is this cell, you can see it disappearing into the fog, so that's not a 9. 9 of these are a 9. This 6-cell cage, it can't be a 3-cell cage because 1 and 3 are not available, so this has to be a 2-cell cage, and 1 is not available, so this is not 1, 5, this has to be 2, 4. So this cell, which is this cell here, is 2 or 4. Not what I was expecting. Hang on. How did I figure out that this is going back up? No, I don't have. I've got no clue. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. It will be very ironic if suddenly, 2 random guesses being entirely correct. Right. What am I doing? These being revealed is clearly going to be useful at some point. I just don't think they're going to be useful right now. Maybe we need to think about what this cell is. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, or 9. So this is 7 or 8. Is that 6 or 4? Yes, of course, that 4 is helpful. That's 2, that's 4. And therefore, that's 1, 3. We actually don't know yet. But we do know that this 4 has to be connected to this. So that has to be 3. That has to be 3. That is not a 3. Because obviously they're unique. And yes, I did guess incorrectly. Like I said, it would have been very amusing if I did guess correctly. You guys would probably be calling me cheating, thinking about knowing what is next. That's that 2. These 2 cells are now the same. Side of 15K is at 3 cells. We don't really have that. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 8 or 9. And therefore this is 8 or 9. Now 9 feels very tight. Not tight enough. Because I could still have 1, 5. Essentially to get to 15, if that's 9, well, that would be the 5, that would be the 1. If that's 8, I need 2 cells that add up to 7, and it's not 2, 5, it's not 3, 4, so it would be 1, 6. And in fact, that 6 would be down here, and that's always a 1. Not hugely useful. These 2 cells are now the same. Yeah, not hugely useful at all. Not 1, not 2. It could be 3, it's not 4, 5, 6. It could be 7, and I'm just going to do it for now, write everything that's possible, 8 or 9, but obviously I can see that's not an 8. So this is 3, 7, can't be 8, but it can be 9. Not helpful. Not helpful. We need a 2 in these cells, and then another 8, 9, and another 5, 6. Not helpful again. Actually, that 1 gave me a 9 in here, which is that 9 there, and that 1 there. That 1 gave me a 5 here, and a 1. Nope. This is, I mean, it's 3, hang on, 3, 7, 8, 9. I've got actually already a triple of these. 3, 7, 8. No, I haven't. I went immediately from I have a triple to I don't have a triple just by just checking. So what have I not got in here? I haven't got a 1. I haven't got a 4. So there is 1, 4 in there. Again, I don't know where this is heading. Quite likely in here, but technically it could also do that. So this is 1, 4, or 7. Because it can't be 3 or 9. Just hardly enough. And this palindrome, and I mean, there's a lot of useful things on the palindrome, but we kind of need to get past this bit to really be able to use it more. What am I missing? So let's assume for a second that this is 1, 4, 7. What are these cells? So I need another 7, 8. And then I think I need another 5 and 6. Okay, not helpful again. I mean, I can see there's 5 in here. I can see that there's 5 and 6 in here. I can see that there's a 2 in there. I'm not seeing, though, how any of this is helpful. Now, we've got 15 down here. We've got 16 up here. Going, again, I know that because obviously the digits, the column 2 has the digits 1 to 9 once each in Sudoku. You add them all up, they're 45. I can see 15. I can see another 16. So that's 31. These 3 cells have to add up to 14, including a 2. So that means that there is a 2 and another 2 cells that add up to 12. And it's not 5, 7. And it's essentially going to be what? And it can't be 9, 3. So it's got to be 8, 4. So this is 2, 4, 8. How is there any... I don't get how this is forced, but this isn't. So let's try that again. So the 2 and 4 are forced with Sudoku because they're not down here. Then I need another cell, which is obviously from, actually hang on, this 6, that's why. 5, and then to get to 14, it's got to be 9, and therefore this is 2, 4, 8. I'm just making things harder for myself, like I very often do, to be fair. These 2 cells are the same. The only digit that I can see that is common is the 4. 1, 4, 7, 2, 4, 8. Going for it, yeah. No 4s, that is 2, 8, 2, 8, and you can see that 2 resolves the 8, and they're, yeah, because they're in the same column here, so that would be 2. So that's 2, that's 8. And then, does that force a 1? How did I write that 1 in here? Yeah, because there's no 1 there, so that is 1. And therefore these are 5, 6, 7, and this has to be the 8. These are clearly not 8, which gives me a 9 in here. And a 3, 7 pair. Lovely. No 2s. In here it's 1 or 4, not necessarily resolved. Actually, of course, this 5, 6, 7 is 5, 6, 7 in here. Is that helping? It is not helping. How am I not able to resolve any of them? And then this cell is the same as that one, which doesn't include 1, doesn't include 2, can include, no, doesn't include 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is fine, 8 isn't. So this is 7 or 9. Then these two cells are also the same. You can see all of this behind the fog. You can see it peeking through this corner. You can see it sort of in there. So these two are also the same. And therefore they could be 1, not 2, not 3. Sorry, 3 is possible. 4, 5, not possible. 6 is fine. 7 is fine. And then 8 and 9 are not. Interesting. No, I can't use 6 or 7. I'll show you. Quite hard to spot actually with the geometry, but maybe a bit of coloring would help. Blue, green, and yellow. And then this cell sees blue, green, and yellow, incredibly. So therefore it sees the full kind of like trifecta of 5, 6, 7, and therefore it can't be 6 or 7. Don't know how useful this will be later, but I'm happy I spotted it. It's not actually giving us any digits, so like as I said, I don't know how useful this is. This 3, 7, 9 between the 4 and 9 is not 9. It's 3 or 7. And I feel like I've written all of the palindromes really, that I am probably missing Sudoku. I say probably often, like I did with that 6 for a period of time. Let me just see if I'm missing anything else. So there's a 2 in here. So let's go through it systematically. 1. There's too many options here. 1 is down there. All of these are viable. All of these are viable. Never mind. 2s. 2 X-wing left. 3s. Well, 3 is here, meaning 3 is there, meaning 7, meaning 3. And therefore that's also another 3, which gives me the 1 and the 1. So I guess kind of reducing it down was useful, because that 1 also gave me a 4 in here. Not sure if that's useful, but I mean, I guess at some point we just need to give up on the palindrome, actually just solve the puzzle. That is not a 6. That is not a 5. It's not quite the same. I mean, it sees this cell and sees this cell, but nothing stops it from being the same as these 3, which certainly can be a 7. Not seeing the problem with that. Would require a 7 in here, which is reasonable. That can't be 1. That can't be 1. That's the only place for a 1. That's 1. That's 5. No 1 in here. That's a 1. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. We need another 5, 6, 7. The 5 is not here. High chances in one of these 2 cells, but we don't know. And we need a 9. The 9 is in none of these. That's a 9. So that's another 5, 6, 7, which also means that these 2 cells are the same. So it's kind of like looking quite possible at this point. Actually, hang on. What am I saying? This cell is the same as this cell. So it can't be 7, otherwise I break everything. Because essentially, if this is 7, what it's saying is neither of these are 7 because it sees them. And therefore this would be 7, this would be 7, this would be 7, this would be 7. And, you know, it's chaos. So that cannot be 7. That's got to be a 9, as is this cell. These 2 are the same because, again, this is a 5, 6, 7 triple. 2 of them are here. So this is the 3rd one, and therefore this can't be a 5. We're using this palindrome in the oddest of ways, by the way. I've never really done this before. Now, this cell I've already established is the same, and therefore with the palindrome, it's got to be the same here. Therefore, it can't, you know, just Sudoku, can't be any of these, can't be this cell. It's got to be in here. Wow, this is, like I said, a fascinating use of palindromes. Never really did something like this before, but I'm enjoying it. Very strange spots in general. So, actually, that's 7. Come on, Sleuth. Wakey, wakey. That means all of these are 6. That can't be 6. These corner pencil marks can all go for now. 5, 7, and 5, 7. Not particularly helpful. Purple can't be in any of these cells. Has to be in here, where it would conflict with a 7. So that has to be 5. That has to be the remaining triple of the 7. 7 is in one of 2 cells, don't know. 5 is in one of 2 cells, don't know. But 3 is none of these, so that's 3. That means that's the 7, and this is a 5-8 pair, and that 8 is here, and this is a 5, and I think we're pretty much done now. Don't celebrate too early, of course, but that was a fascinating puzzle so far. These 2 cells, I need 4, 8. Yeah, it is just, sorry, I was looking for a third digit thinking, what is it? And I can't see it. That's because there is no third digit. I need 2, 7, which means they're in here because they're not there. And this is 5. That means this is another 2, 7. If I can type. These are 2, 7 and something else. 2, 7 and 9. That is not 2 or 9. That is a 7. That is a 2. That is a 7. That is a 2. That is a 9. Lovely. Nearly there. Need an 8. Need a 7, which is in here and there. Need 4 and 6. That's not a 6. That's 4. That's 6. This is just a known digit. 8. I need a 4, which can only be in here. A 7, which can only be in there. If I can type. And an 8 for the finish. Stunning puzzle, Megano33. Absolutely beautiful puzzle. Now, I don't know if some of these very unusual deductions I was making around the palindrome are actually necessary as part of the solve. But I feel like they are. I think the construction of the line, see, in general, Megano33's fog puzzles are very carefully constructed. So it'll be surprising if this is not necessary. But if you guys haven't used some of these deductions, let me know down in the comments as always. Always curious around how you guys solved it versus the approach that I've taken. Hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle and the video, and I'll see you back for the next one. Bye-bye for now.